Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of Bible FC24, an RTG edition. In relation to the RTG, here's to show you we packed Odegaard, a shallow chem style, which we flogged on the market for some coins. We managed to afford to buy an inform Ollie Watkins as an upgrade for the team. We've also bought an inform Szoboszlai as a wildcard replacement for Caicedo. So any goal we score with him gives us a flexible Bible passage option. Then got Mangala and a few loan players which might pop up in the series or for an SBC. So here's a reminder of the team on screen with a couple of upgrades that have just been mentioned. And here is what we came up against. Pretty solid team, to be fair. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of Haaland up front. And he gets off to the dream start, carving open my defence with Erling Haaland, burying it past the keeper for a 1-0 lead. But we pick the ball out of Llorente into Watkins, Watkins to Johnson. We win the ball back with Szoboszlai, and bang, the new signing straight off the bat with a goal to equalise the game. We then hit the post with the pull from outside the box, so it remains 1-1 at this point. However, beautiful bit of interplay to get away on the break. Watkins goes steaming down the line. We see Maddison there for the sweat, and we bury it past the keeper for a 2-1 lead and an option for the Bible passage through James Maddison, the Book of James. Then with Brennan Johnson, we get the ball down the line. We cut it across to Watkins, who smashes it past the keeper to make it 3-1. And then look at this beautiful little skill flick over the defender's head with Maddison. We play it through to Szoboszlai, and he unselfishly sweats it to Watkins, who studs it into the back of the net with a 2-footer, or the 1-footer, karate kick. And we get the rage quit. We induce the rage quit, 4-1, and we'll head into another match with a few options for the Bible passage already under our belt. A solid team with Alessandrini, if any of you know the guy, the sweat from previous FIFAs. And he scores with that man to make it 1-0 straight off the bat. However, from the corner, we spray it to Szoboszlai, to Johnson. He smashes it past the keeper to make it 1-1 for the equaliser. So 1-1 at this point. He then goes down the line with Kone, plays it into Milito, who sweats it to Alessandrini again, who scores a goal to make it 2-1. And then he picks the ball up out wide. Kone, what's he going to do this time? Cuts it back again. And there's Lamar to make it 3-1. So at this point, we're not looking good, but there's still plenty of time left to pull the game back. And that is indeed what we do. We eventually get it to Ollie Watkins, who smashed it with another trademark near post finish to make it 3-2. But unfortunately, we didn't have enough to pull it back to 3-3. So that's how the game finished. A 3-2 loss on the board for that one. But we'll head into one more game for the episode. We came up against this stacked mystery team. And this is what happened. So we play it from Klosterman to Szoboszlai, who smashes it into the bins. What a hero. The wildcard player coming into the team. He's done bits this episode, and there's another option for the Bible passage. However, Haaland squares it up at 1-1, but then we get the ball second half. De Paul, lovely bit of interplay. We get it back to De Paul, little bobble, but we steer it past the keeper on the left foot into the back of the net to make it 2-1 at this point. And then right at the end of the game, we put it from Judith Steinberg down the line to Ollie Watkins, who smashes it again into the near post top bins. Absolutely loves the finish. He knows it sealed the win. Goes mental, and we get the 3-1 win, which provides us with loads of options for the Bible passage, the most important part of the video, which we will head into now.
Okay, so into the Bible passage, and we're going to go with the absolute screamer that we scored with Dominic Szoboszlai in the 27th minute. It would be rude not to. And because of that, he's our wildcard player, so we can choose from any book in the Bible as long as it's in relation to the goal time. So we're going to go with Psalm 27. Now, Psalm 27 was most likely written by David, and he was most likely in this moment being chased by King Saul, potentially after his life, while David was in exile. So in this psalm, there's a context of he's potentially in quite a fragile moment. A lot of the psalms he writes, he's kind of talking about how his enemies are after him and that sort of thing. So he's in quite a vulnerable situation. And we're going to read a couple of verses from it. So he starts off by saying this: "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, and whom shall I be afraid?" So he's starting off by reminding himself that God, the God of the Bible, the God that he worships, if his God is with him, then which kind of human, feeble human king, essentially in this life, should he fear? Obviously, the reality is, King Saul could potentially be, a strong king that could kill him and take his life. But he's like, but if God's on my side, if God wants me to live, there's nothing that's going to be able to sort of overcome that. There's nothing that King Saul could do that could win against the mighty God that has created Saul himself and has created me and has created the heavens and the earth. If that God's on my side, then nothing can take me down if God means me to still live and keep going. And there's kind of a reminder there about, just not being afraid because he's got trust in God. And encouragement for you watching this, if you put your faith in God, if God still means you to be here in this life and still has plans and purposes for you, then he's going to make sure you're still here. There's nothing you need to be afraid of that is going to take your life. You might go through difficult times and hardships, but you can be confident God wants to work those things in your life for good, as the Bible promises. But yeah, the Lord won't let you die or lose your life unless you've done absolutely everything that he wants you to do in this life. So yeah, if you put your trust in him, you can have that confidence. David has that confidence that, God can keep him going. If God still has a plan for him, he's going to keep him going. But then he goes on to talk about his ultimate trust in God. He says in verse 4, "One thing I have asked of the Lord, that I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple." And David here is saying that ultimately my trust is in the fact that one day, there's life beyond this. I know that God's with me in this life. I know he's my stronghold. I know he's my fortress. I know I don't need to be afraid because God's going to be with me. He's going to help me. He's going to keep me safe as long as he means me to be here. But ultimately, when it comes to the end of my life, when I've done everything that God's called me to do, I'm going to be in an eternity with God forever, in a heavenly place, free from suffering, free from all the bad things of this world, in just a wonderful place full of peace, joy, goodness, worshipping God in all of his splendor, in just a perfect, loving harmony, without any of the hardship of this world. And he's like, that's ultimately where I'm putting my trust. That's ultimately what I'm living for. That's ultimately what I'm looking forward to. And again, if you're watching this video, there's an encouragement. This life is temporary. This life can be hard, but God wants to be with you in it. If you put your trust in him, he wants to help you in this life. He wants to help you to not be afraid. He wants you to give you that peace that, no matter what happens in life, if you've got your trust in God, he's going to help you to get to be where you need to be, to do what you need to do. He's going to help you in the struggles and the hardships. It might not always be easy, but he's going to be with you in it. And one day, that actually, there's something beyond this life. There's an eternity waiting for me, free from suffering, in perfect harmony of God, in perfect harmony of one another, in an environment full of all the fruits of the Spirit and all their fullness. It's going to be amazing. And that's ultimately what we're living for. Ultimately, what you can look forward to if you put your faith in Jesus. So that's the encouragement for today. Hopefully there's some things there that have helped you and given you a boost, and maybe helped you to consider faith if you don't currently believe in Jesus. But for now, we'll leave it there, and I look forward to catching you all on the next one.